Hey everyone, this is Emmet's Dream House from the LEGO Movie 2. This is a 2-in-1 set, meaning there are two distinct different build options. You can build one at a time using the official instructions included in the set, and in this one review I will be showing you both versions. This first build includes the assembly of a bunch of junk. That's really what all of this is intended to be, stuff that will get salvaged to make other things at another time. Of course, you've got the laser pointer here as well. I'm assuming it still works, so that's cool. These are actually barrels with a green frog in each, a couple of them stacked up. Don't know exactly what that's supposed to represent. This kind of looks like a little radiator, home heater unit, but it might be something else. This almost looks like it's something from Star Wars, like a little transport, pallet transport unit. This is the actual piece that does the work, and then these are supposed to be like racks to take along, but I don't know if that's exactly what it's supposed to be. It's just what it strikes me as, and I'm sure we'll see a little bit more about this in the movie. This also has a spring-loaded shooter built into it, so you could use that. That may be a portion of another vehicle or craft. All this comes together. This looks like it could be a rocket. Looks like it also could be a water tower or a distilling unit, a still. There's actually a little cache of axle pins down in here, extra parts, and maybe a little bit of a workbench there. You've got a turret here. That's what that looks like to me, and maybe some things were being worked on at some point, but ultimately this is just a way to store all the extra parts that are needed to build the secondary build that we'll get to a little bit later. Here's the main feature of the set though, Emmet's dream house itself, complete with white picket fence out front, the bright classic LEGO yellow color, and a combination of classic build techniques and inspirations, and some relatively new stuff that is clever with its use of parts to, again, hide a lot of parts and to use up a lot of pieces in this build that will also be used in the secondary build. As you can see, this is completely enclosed around all sides and has a fair amount of detail around the back as well. The least detail on this model is probably just around this side here, and this is where it opens up. You probably saw the hinge on the other side. Here you see it starting to open a little bit. It opens up fully, and it has a fairly well detailed interior. In the area nearest the entryway, you see that Emmet now has a single-decker couch to sit on, no longer the double-decker one that's done in the light aqua color. You will find 3 pictures on the walls throughout the house, and those are done with just stickers. There are actual coins that are lost underneath the couch. You can see just one of them barely there with the single gold-colored stud. There is a suggestion of a ceiling light up above. There's another of the pictures on a 2x3 tile, and up above is the space for Unikitty to sleep. So there's the 3rd picture. This is her bedding area, and you also have some piping over there, which I'm assuming is supposed to be related to the HVAC unit in this house. Meanwhile, on the other side is a dining room and a kitchenette with the counter over there and a stove, and I don't know if that's supposed to be a sink in the center or if that's actually supposed to be the stove there with 4 burners on it, but a really minimized build size. You have the seating area in the center, which can accommodate 3 individuals, 2 of them on the seats. One of them is a full seat, one of them doesn't have a back on it, and you can also put a 3rd person at the foot of the table here. You got your entertainment center over here with the TV, which does use a sticker for its face. Looks like they're not getting any real reception right now, just a test pattern. And there's just a little bit of storage space. You could consider this to be attic space. A little bit over there, a little bit over there. And keep in mind that these 2 halves do come together, so if you want to think about the experience for figures living in here, you have to think about the fact that somebody would be sitting at the couch and looking at the TV, which would be a little bit off to their side, but not in a completely different part of the house. So all of this comes together. You're not able to easily remove the roof if you just want to see the entire floor plan together, so there's no real easy way to do that. But that pretty much does it for this build. It also does not lock together, so you may see that gap frequently unless you just put one additional piece right here just to hold these together. A little 1x2 should do the trick. Here are Emmet and Lucy, formerly known as Wildstyle. Emmet has an exclusive new printed tile piece. The 1x2 says E and L forever. It's Emmet and Lucy forever. It's a little customized pillow is what that's supposed to represent. And Lucy has the 2 signaling batons that may be used to signal an aircraft of some sort or a spacecraft of some sort. She gets the dual molded hairpiece that has the goggles built in. And here's a look at these from the back. And there's a look at the torsos on the backs of them and also their alternate faces. Lucy does also get dual molded legs there. Here is Rex Danger Vest, fully equipped and ready for action. He has dual molded legs here, and the lighter color, the lighter blue color that you see on those legs, as well as used on the arms, is dark azure this time around. Contrasts against the dark blue, and the helmet has the solid or opaque lime green colored visor, which is the same visor as we've had before, just in a new color for 2019. Print on both of the arms, print on the rocket pack back here, and you can adjust the angles of these thrusters around as you like. This does have a couple of lightning bolts coming out of them to represent energy blasts. He does have a face under there. As a matter of fact, there are 2 faces, so this is one of them. He's looking confused or possibly disappointed there. There's the other one where he's just being his normal super confident self, and this also lets you see more of the print on the back of the torso. Now for use helmet off, they do include a hair piece for him in this set, which is convenient. One thing about the helmet is that you are not able to raise that visor, so you could just leave it off if you want to show it being retracted. That's another option there. Doesn't line up completely with the face, but it does show you the expression nevertheless. And there is some print across the top of that helmet as well. Unikitty is built here in her sleeping version. There are 2 versions of her in this set, and they give you instructions. Well, they give you parts for both, and they give you instructions for this one with this version of the house build. And there's another version that I'll show you momentarily that goes with the other version of the house build, but of course you can choose how to put those together. They don't have to be done at the exact same time or with the exact same order. No print around the back of this. And the last official builds with this version are a tape deck, which is built on a spring-loaded shooter base, and then Emmet's trusty plant. Both of these can be considered Guardians of the Galaxy references, or the plant could be a little bit of a Wall-E reference, I guess. Here are the parts left over in this version of the build, and yeah, there are a lot of them, and some of them are pretty interesting. All of these are just spares, just extras, except for, obviously, the alternate version of Unikitty, the 2 printed parts there, and also one of these brackets is used for the other version of her. And they include the all-important brick separator piece in the new for 2019 teal color. Well, the color isn't new, but this is the first time that this piece has been done in this revived classic color. Now, if you want to see the build for this set, you can find that over on my build channel. I've linked to it from this video, especially in the end screen. It's also in the pinned comment. And that one video has both versions of the build in it. And finally, here is that second build, the Rescue Rocket. Now, this is a completely different build. There is no simple and quick way to convert between the original house and this, but it does once again use up all the pieces, and this does include all the pieces from all of the junk that you built with the other version. So everything gets integrated together here. You get big engines on the back. You actually get small adjustable flaps that look like they could be from the Milano again. Guardians of the Galaxy, just a little bit, kind of what it feels like to me. And it is once again a completely enclosed house. This time around, though, you get the bay window on the front. You get a couple of lasers here. These are supposed to represent, they go up and down, but they also have a pair of spring-loaded shooters next to them. So you can use the spring-loaded shooters to represent the fire that would come from these. They almost look like they're from a Star Wars ship or something, but I mean, they're just lasers of some sort. And this one is not hinged in the middle to open up. Instead, you open up the top. But before you open up the top completely, there's a half opening, a partial section that will pop up, and that goes like so. You can also get it from the other side. Yeah, both of those open up. So there you're seeing attic a little bit differently, once again with a little bit of piping going through there, this time to probably move some propellant around. Previously just used for HVAC ducting, and the two frogs have gotten up in there. There's some of the coinage from underneath the couch, once again kind of hidden away, but none of this is intended to be usable space by figures. I guess you could put a couple up there, but to get into the place, you lift the entire roof off. It's only attached with a couple of studs at the front and then a couple of jumpers at the back, partial studs. And here you can see more of just how this is a total rebuild, with this time kind of a cupboard of sorts with a drop-down desk. I don't know, I guess it's just used as storage here. You know, it's kind of tiny house style with the sideways door there. And you have just a little bit of a kitchen, and here, instead of a couch, you have a control space with a couple of consoles there. Still get to use the tape deck. 2 seats side by side. And there's what's left of the seating with the light aqua colored pieces. The other parts are down inside. They're hidden away a little bit. And that's just that, with the exception of little remote firing mechanisms to get to these spring-loaded shooters, because you do notice that they are not able, or you're not able to see the tails of them, so you're not able to manually hit those. They've got little remote buttons from the back. You just push on either of these little flowers at the ends of mechanisms that go all the way through the entire thing, and it just pushes those out. Actually uses some of the light aqua pieces as part of that mechanism. Of course, you can always open these shutters and such. These are actually double thick windows in this case, with the glass, or simulated glass, inside of those as well. And these don't really articulate. You can move these up and down a little bit, but that's not really the intent. The only things that really move out here are these flaps. You can adjust their angles, also rotate them a little bit. And I believe that is it for this build. There's the alternate version of Unikitty, who's technically Warrior Kitty, as she's set up here. And this is fully awake and ready to, well, go to war, I guess. She's got a spear on the side. I'm not sure exactly how she's holding that, or if that's just intended to be kind of attached to her. But that's how you put those pieces together officially. And as far as leftover pieces from this set, it's exactly this, or this version of the set, it's exactly the same as before, except now you don't use that version of Unikitty face, and I'm just grabbing this part, which almost looks like the old piece of resistance, but this was previously used for her laying down version. In terms of value, this set is right in the normal range when you look at the price to part ratio. As far as how I feel about its price to volume of stuff ratio, it's not fantastic, not as good as it looks on an objective level. You know, the house itself is fairly small, but it is pretty solid, and when you actually go through the process of building this, it feels like you have gotten that many pieces worth of experience out of this. And then having the ability to do it completely differently, I think is very nice, and I appreciate the fact that both of these are fully enclosed. Is this just the greatest thing ever made? No, it totally is not. I think the fact that the main house, let me go ahead and grab it, the main house is enclosed, where most small houses from Lego these days are not, should not be celebrated too much. that should be the norm. You know, most Lego houses should be able to close up like that. You can always do this and get the fully open, playable version of it like that. But a lot of people want to see things that look complete. So this really should be considered just normal. And I don't personally give this any massive points for innovation here for having included a house that is complete. Now, I did get 2 of these sets, so I could build these 2 together. So if you're interested in the side-by-side comparison between the 2, definitely you get a larger looking thing from the outside with the secondary build. The width of it is similar, but when you turn them around this way, that's where you start to see. I guess it doesn't look as different to me as it does, or as it did as I was putting it together. This feels like it has more bulk. Certainly, it has a lot more pieces that went into it. Didn't feel like it was any slower to build, though. You do put a lot of the time on this build over here into just creating all the junk, and in this case, you just include it in the house. Like I said, they are very, very different builds, though. You'll notice that a lot of things are changed between them. A lot of things that you might expect to be the same really aren't. So if you're considering transforming between the 2, I personally recommend that you just take the whole thing apart, except for the junk. A couple pieces of the junk are used in their original form from here, but I mean, most of it is a new experience, and I think that's perfectly fine. I think the inclusion of 2 build options is great. As for the figures, I like this Rex. I wish the visor was able to come up, though. Wild Style Lucy, yeah, that's good. 2 versions, 2 options for Unikitty are good. Emmet is fine. I like the little printed piece. I always like the printed pieces. I really like this. It's so small, it's so simple, but it's cool. Hope that Lego will do more things like that. Just regular everyday objects in the future. Oh yeah, the inclusion of an actual hairpiece for a helmeted figure, always good. I would love for that to become a standard inclusion just across all sets that have helmeted figures. And that's just the greatest thing ever right there. That's the reason, the real reason you should buy this is for the teal brick separator. No, of course not. It's just a novelty, but a cool thing. A nice little nod to folks who might find that interesting. Overall, I personally find this to be a good set. Not a fantastic, great, innovative, earth-shattering, genre-defining set, but just good. It's fun. And, if you just want a house, there you go. You actually have a house that is, not a complete building. You actually have something that has all the pieces included. You don't have to customize it to finish it off. And it's not the size of a modular building. Usually most of the complete structures we get nowadays are modular buildings. So overall, I am satisfied with this thing, and I really couldn't have asked for much more from it. Those are my thoughts, though. Feel free to share your own in the comments down below. Again, please check out the builds for both versions of this, and remember, you can only build one of these with parts from one set. This is showing you 2 sets here. Check out the build channel and you'll be able to find more of my builds as they are published for sets that are going to be reviewed. Thank you for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.